Hi, I'm Debbie Philp, and I'm going to share with you the simplest way that I have found to center myself. It's important, I think, to have these tools when your mind is spinning out or you're finding that your heart is racing or there's just so much happening that you feel like you're being pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. So we need to center, we need to settle, we need to let our nervous system know that we recognize what it's going through and that we support it and help it to calm down again. So following your breath is a really, like I said, simple, not always easy, but accessible way to center again. So I'm going to take you through a couple of different ways that you can follow your breath. So let's just begin by taking a centering breath together. So take a nice big breath in and let it out nice and slow. And then you can either close your eyes or just gaze down. Take your gaze away from your screen for a moment. And if you are gazing at something, let that be soft. It might even start to blur a little bit. And breathe in and out through your nose as best you can today. And just notice that you're breathing. Breathing is something that happens automatically most of the time. You don't have to think about breathing. But now I'd like you to think about breathing. Notice that you're breathing in. Notice that you're breathing out. Right? Aware that you're breathing. And you may notice that as soon as you became aware that you were breathing, you started to control your breath. Maybe you're slowing your breath down or evening it out just because you noticed. And now let's start the first way to follow your breath, and that's by focusing on a single point and watching the breath go past that point. And the easiest point to work with is the tip of your nose. So the tip of your nose, you become aware of your nostrils, the edge of your nostrils, your skin. And if you focus your attention there, you'll find that the breath goes in and out past that spot, and you can feel it. And you can feel the breath coming in. The air coming in might feel cooler and drier than the air that's coming back out again. And notice those differences. And just for a moment, focus on your breath, following the breath in and out from that single point of focus. Right, so that's the first way to follow your breath. And then the second way is to actually follow the breath all the way in and all the way out. So we're going to start at the tip of the nose. And as you take an inhale, notice the air in the nasal passages, down the back of the throat, and all the way down into the lungs. And remember that the air that's coming in is usually cooler than the air that's in your body. So you might feel the tingle of coolness as that air comes in. And then when you breathe out, follow the breath up from your lungs, up the back of your throat, through your nasal passages, and then out past the tip of your nose again. Okay, so follow it from the tip of your nose, down through the nasal passages, down the back of the throat, into the lungs. And then follow the exhale from the lungs, up the back of the throat, through the nasal passages and out. Now, I mentioned that when we bring our awareness and attention to the breath, we often take over control. Okay, so now you're consciously controlling your breath. So you can continue to follow your breath as you deepen it a little bit more, as you take in more air, and notice, follow the breath in into your lungs and see if you can feel it come all the way down into the bottom of your lungs as you inhale a little bit more. And then as you exhale, slow it down and really feel the breath as it moves all the way up and out from the bottom of your lungs and back out through the tip of your nose. And if that feels comfortable for you and you can hold your awareness through that, maybe the next time you breathe in, you send the breath out into the sides of the lungs so you feel your rib cage start to lift and expand a little bit. And then follow the breath again as it leaves, feeling the ribs then come back towards each other, feeling the chest collapse in a little bit as the breath leaves. And so just take a few more breaths, just following the breath, however felt comfortable for you. And then shift your awareness back to your mind and your heart. What state are you in now? Right? So use this technique whenever you find that your mind and heart are troubled or feeling overwhelmed or panicky. Recenter yourself. And then check in again at the end and say, how has things changed? How have they settled? What feels good? Do I still need to do some more work? Or can I go on with my day now? Thank you for practicing with me.